Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So this is my Monday morning moves, and we're going to do them together, but today is going to be one of the least exciting ones that we've done so far, and it really ought to be that way in general. But first, I re-nicknamed my margarine account to margarine. So we have margarine, which is my margin account, and leverage trash, which is what I'm trying to transfer all of my stuff like Ulti and NVYY, PLTW, MST, and XBTY over there. That way, when my leverage stuff acts wild in whatever downturn, my margarine account won't get margin called. So hopefully that'll help you all follow along which account I am referring to. And so I actually went through today and we have everything written down and organized, so hopefully this will be pretty smooth. So we only have we have $421.31 to transfer. Not transfer, sorry. We're transferring $264.25. So each one of these should have $66.06 transferred out of it. So we rounded it. So let's go to account and transfers. We're going to transfer assets between accounts. We are good. We're going to do it from my margarine account to my leverage trash account and customize my selection. We're going to do MST, but not all shares. We're going to do a specific amount of MST, which is 9. Confirm. And then we have XBTY over here. We want a specific amount and we're going to do 4 of that. Confirm. And then we have NVYY, which is 3 shares. And then PLTW, which will be 1 share. Confirm. And now we just have to go through and say 9 shares, 3 shares, 1 share of that, and 4 shares of this. Continue. And we're accepting that to continue. We have assets. We can go there, check it out, make sure we're not accidentally doing all of them again. So we are doing that. And it does, in fact, gives me less margin. In my account, I already have only a 35% margin buffer, but in the long term, I think having these particular assets not in my margarine account, having these in a cash account so that they can do what they're going to do is good, because every time we do a transfer, that makes my gold position more. It makes, when I get into things like T-SPY or QLDY, depending on how QLDY does, I really want to have a really well-balanced, really well risk managed, kind of even keeled portfolio in my margin account, because I just want to pay off my personal loans, my credit cards, my margin. And so I do have things I need to do, like this account eventually is going to pay for Bitcoin. So when we get this to the point where I can use my leverage trash account to pay for my everyday living expenses, my margin account can be for paying off debt and the future, basically. So I have $9.04. So we're just going to go into blocks and buy in dollars, $9.04 worth of that, which is a third of a stock. And, if that's the most I can do this time, that's the most I can do this time. At least it pays every week, right? Right. Okay. So I think what's happening with the leveraged account is MST declares today, MSTW declares on Fridays, Ulti is now going to declare on Tuesday, MVYY declares on Thursday, XBTY also declares on Thursday, PLTW declares on Friday, and Blocks I think is on Thursday or Friday. So nothing declares on Wednesday. So I don't get paid on Fridays, so which is why I don't have a lot of money in this account on Mondays to invest, because I'm not just going to leave cash in this account. I'm investing in blocks every time I have cash, up to when it has 20 shares, and then we're moving on to the next thing, which is probably going to be WPay. So hopefully we get through blocks pretty quickly, then we do WPay, and then we'll probably do YMAX, and then we'll start just going through the cycle. I'm in my margin account before all of this crazy stuff happened. Well, before I was able to open up a second account, a cash account in Robinhood, I was trying to get to 100 shares and then move on to the next thing, but I want to be in too many things in my leverage trash account, so we're just doing 20 shares and then cycling through the things that I want to go in. So we really do need to get this to the point where I am paying for my house bills in my leverage trash account, and then my margin account can be more stable and produce less and just be a good steward of the margin that I do have out, which is quite a bit. So we have done the leverage trash. We did the transfers. I have $421.31 to invest, which it's not that exciting, but we're going to try to do KGLD. And if we can get okay, so we have KGLD, and the current price is $29.61, and so we're going to round this. We have to do an equal sign because it is an Excel spreadsheet. Round this divided by this, so we can buy 14 shares of KGLD. 14. That's $414.54. So we're going to buy that. We'll see what it winds up being when it's actually placed. Okay, so we spent $414.50. So this minus this, I'm pretty sure for GLDY, we can only do whole shares as well. So for GDXY, we'll do $6.81. And that way, the way that I derived this was we had to have $352 minimum in gold. And then what I want is in my margin account, when we add up the margin used and the options collateral, I want these to equal $70,000. So maybe later this week, if I have more than $1,000 in here, I can do another options collateral, but I am using my margin account to pay for my bills. So This week I actually had a surplus because the first week in October I had about half of my entire expenses for the month, and I just happened to not have any bills that were due this week. So because of unemployment, I didn't really have to transfer anything, but I am actually going to transfer $546.06 so that I can pay $750 towards my credit card. So I'll do that off screen, and that'll be that. And then we did the leverage trash. We've got my Roth IRA. So if we go to my retirement account, and we're just going to go down the list. Oh, that was not the list. Stop clicking on things, Amy. Okay, so MSTY, we're going to spend $50 on this because it is my experiment, kind of modified because I don't have enough money. But hey, we did Misty, and then we're going to buy MSTR, the underlying, as well. $4.18. 4.18. Done. And then we're going to go down to WPay, which maybe we could get this so that we can see it. Hold on, I'm clicking on things. Okay. So we're going to go to WPay, which is all the way down here. And we're going to buy $60 of this. I really love when the volume is big enough that we can do fractional shares. It makes my life much easier. Then we've got blocks, $75. And then we've got WPay in here. Sorry, we already did WPay. We've got to do YSpy. So here we go. And we can buy, we can only buy that in shares. So it is currently 1921 goes around this divided by this, and we can buy 4 shares of this. I only have $75, so we're gonna get 3 shares of this. We're gonna buy that. Done. And then we're gonna go and just put the rest of that into SPMO. So I have $17.37 or 35 cents, which is fine. So we just bought a little bit of the S&P 500, which I like doing. Okay. So now we have $0 in my retirement account to spend. We've done my leverage trash. I did Fidelity. I only had $15.76, so I just put into FBTC. So that's everything to buy this morning. I'm going to put on some more SoFi shares for the members, and will probably roll over my MSTX that I have in my margin account. midweek this week because I did it midweek last week. Because it went from very far out of the money to very far in the money, and I didn't feel like owning MSTX at this exact moment, so I rolled it forward. So if we can continue doing that, that would be amazing. So at this point, I could either buy to close it and spend a lot of money, or I can take the risk and continue rolling it forward, and at some point I'm going to get those shares assigned to me at $23, but it was at like $26 when I first put it in there, so it could be worse. And hopefully I'll be able to get my cost basis down before it's assigned to me. At least that's the hope. So yeah, I'd like to thank the members of this channel: Scott Behringer, Michael Holliday, Motivation Boost, Shane O'Mac, Bill Bryant, Pedro X. Spalding, BGP Automotive, In My Opinion Jetta, and Omega Werewolf X. Thank you so much for making your bad financial decisions together with me and helping me create YieldMight or helping me make YieldMight more sustainable and as my main thing that I'm doing along with this YouTube channel. And I guess speaking about that, I actually sat down last night and figured out the API issue. So this is a Android emulator, and you can see that it has the latest distribution. So if you say I have $1,000, you would have $68 from Echo, you would have $26.58 from TSYY. This is automatically sorted by rate, but if you wanted to do it by ticker, you can, it would sort by that as well. And then you can click on these things and say, like, I want to compare AMYY to AMD to AMDW to AMDU. And you click compare, and it has the company, that's the share price, it has the actual distribution per share, the frequency, the underlying themes, and the next declaration date. So, and this can scroll left and right so you can compare them side by side. So that is the minimum of what YieldMight is going to be on a mobile app. So this can compile to either Android or iPhone. So the next step for me is to clean this up a little bit, get advertising in here, and then apply to get this on the store for both Android and for iPhone. And so actually, there's a step before that. Would you all like to test this YieldMight? I think we can package these and basically have unofficial versions, and then you can send me feedback, and once all of the bugs are fixed, then we can submit it to the store for approval. So anyways, that's exciting. Let me know what your moves are for this week, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.